Think about cities. Traffic lights, bicycle paths, road signs, everything is designed with efficiency in mind. So we can go from point A to point B in the fastest and safest way possible. Thanks to rules, written ones or unwritten ones, but also thanks to nudges. Nudges are liberty-preserving approaches that steer people in a particular direction, but that also allow them to go their own way. Thanks to those nudges and rules, we can make it a life to walk half asleep while listening to the latest Kanye West and checking our Instagrams. But with this automatic behavior in a controlled environment, our commute might tend to become too smooth and a bit boring. But there is one type of people that are not boring, and it's the children. Because they don't have to be efficient, because they might not know the unwritten rules yet, and mostly because they don't care about other people seeing them. We wanted to surprise adults, to make them experiment a glimpse of their childhood during their daily commute. The experience we try to reproduce in the city environment is crossing a river on unstable rocks. Taking uncomfortable steps from one unstable rock to another might lead to weird gestures. It's not an efficient way to move around, cannot be done without a minimum of attention, and might make you feel a little bit clumsy. It might even break your social barriers for a second. So we decided to create an installation and to test it. Location: Isselplads in Copenhagen, Denmark. Time: from 4 to 5 p.m. on weekdays, busy hours. Target: people going in or out of the parking, busy people. The objects: 4 blocks of different size, symbolizing rocks. But in order to make those busy grown-up jumping from one block to the other, we had to make those steps seem logical and rational. We used nudging for that. First principle: aesthetics. We tried to get away from the playground aesthetics, because adults don't want to be considered as children. Second principle: surprise. Due to the localization of the installation, people have to face it. They could always go around, but it's a longer way. To keep the surprise, the installation should not stay in one place longer than a week or so. Third principle: barrier. Mirrors on the ground represent water and act as barrier. Walking on mirrors is not something you would naturally do because they seem precious, and that's what we take advantage of. Why strips of mirrors instead of a huge surface? Because they were damn expensive. Fourth principle: social proof. By faking used up surfaces, we make people believe that the installation has already been used multiple times. The idea of walking on the block suddenly seems more rational. The results of our first test were disappointing. It's not even that people were not using our objects or were annoyed by it. They just didn't care. Out of 0% stepped on the higher block. At least we had some funny behaviors. And hey, this is already something. But what went wrong? First, the weather. It's winter in Denmark. Fog and rain made the mirrors look like some cheap paper. People, therefore, stepped on them. Also, people were afraid of falling down. Second, the aesthetics of the blocks. Because of the rain and lighting conditions, the block didn't match the ground and the environment. It could easily look like someone's DIY project or an artsy installation. So we went back to the drawing boards and made it better. Version 2.0. The new installation now consists of 3 blocks, not 4. We've made it easier. We also made it visual with text saying, "Step on me." It should definitely make it more inviting for people to take the next step. And the new results show no change. The mistakes? First, text should be avoided if possible. A few people had time to read it, and when they did, why would they care? Second, the barriers were still not respected. The mirrors still looked like trash. So, back to the drawing boards. Let's try one last time. In version 3.0, we ditched the mirrors, now with an even stronger physical barrier. A big white sheet of plastic. It covers up a large area, it's stretched and a few centimeters above ground. It should definitely be less easy to walk on it. Also adding one more principle: line of sight. A colorful line connects the 3 blocks and points out the direction towards the parking machine. It's a guideline, no reading needed. How did they go? Well, that's an improvement. What we also observed is that a third of people took the other path instead of walking on the white sheet. What can we get out of that? The colorful line and the used surface of the blocks are improving the behavior. A barrier on the whole surface also seems to work. The top textures and colors of the blocks could be improved, as more people were afraid of falling. For our version 4.0, the dream version, we would love to see a white balloon made from the same plastic sheets. Black blocks with a rough texture would sit on top of the inflated balloon. Each one of them would seem used up. They would also have a red line running along their sides. With this installation, we believe adults would find themselves acting funny before they even think about it. And even if they don't end up playing around with it, they will face something curious and out of the ordinary. And they will have to make a deliberate choice between using it or walking away.